Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we will be reading from Am I the Jerk? Our first post is by this value. Am I the jerk for telling my friend not to come if she's bringing her kid? One of my nearly 30 friends put together a get-together at a restaurant for my birthday. The place has a bar where we're going to be hanging out. The plan was to get a bit tipsy and order appetizers. My husband and I have a 3-year-old, but we're hiring a babysitter for the night. We rented out a private room with a bar. My other friend Missy has a 5-year-old daughter. She mentioned she was going to bring her. I offered to pay my babysitter extra to watch her daughter. Missy said no because her daughter is in daycare all day and she doesn't want her to have to then be with a sitter. I said I understand, but I don't think it's appropriate for her to come. 1, I know our group. We're going to get rowdy and I don't want to censor myself. 2, Missy's daughter is like a lot of 5-year-olds. She doesn't sit still, wants to run over the place. Missy admits she doesn't bring her out to restaurants much because she doesn't know how to act, but I also know Missy will just sort of let her as she's very permissive. I spoke to my friend who put it together and said I don't want any kids there. There's a reason I got a sitter for my own kid. That friend agreed and told Missy not to bring her daughter. Missy has now thrown a fit and said she's not coming. I said I completely understand. There are events I have missed because I don't want to leave my daughter, and the group understands, as we all have kids. I told Missy I'd be glad to have a play date, lunch another time with our kids so we can still hang out. I told Missy I can't stop her from coming to the restaurant, but we absolutely will not allow her to come into the private room. She's very hurt that we're excluding her. Am I the jerk for not wanting a kid at my party and telling my friend she can't come if she brings her? Also, Missy didn't pay for the rented room. 2 of my other friends did as a gift to me. So, it's not as if I'm telling her she can't come to something she paid for. Our next post is by That Lavishness. Am I the jerk for accidentally being fat phobic? I, 21F, hosted a birthday dinner for my best friend Anna, 22F, the other day. I invited all her close friends, made the cake, made a ton of food I knew everyone could enjoy, and decorated the place with all her favorite things. I was exhausted, and honestly all that cooking kinda killed my appetite. So when everyone was eating, I only had a couple things before putting my plate away. One of the friends, let's call her Sarah, noticed and asked what was wrong. I told her, I just don't have that much of an appetite, but please don't stop on my account. I made all this food, so enjoy to your heart's content. She didn't say anything, just nodded and walked off. Then we moved on to games and everyone had a blast, until it was time to cut the cake. The cake was delicious and people were gobbling it up, as they should, because it was amazing. I only took a few bites of cake before putting it away, and Sarah once again walked up to me. She talked about how good the cake was and how everyone was downing it. I laughed and told her I was super happy everyone was enjoying it, and I wish I could down my piece like everyone else, but I just finished a whole bottle of Mexican Coke earlier, so a few bites were all I could stomach right now. She went off on me. She started yelling at me about how I shouldn't have called her fat. I don't think I did though, and that I should be ashamed of making people feel guilty about eating. Anna came over trying to calm Sarah down because now everyone was staring and wondering what was happening. I tried to reach out to Sarah in an attempt to defuse the nuclear war one inadvertently started, but she stomped off. Anna looked at me confused and I just shrugged before telling everyone to continue as they were. The party eventually kicked back off. I tried to text Sarah to come back and apologized, but she just left me on red. Now, a few days later, Anna's friends refused to talk to me. Sarah has spread the word that I'm fat phobic, and everyone is eating it up. I know I'm not as close to them as Anna is, but it still hurts that they seem to believe Sarah so easily without attempting to understand the whole situation. My best friend tried to explain to them it was a simple miscommunication, but no one seems to be listening. The only thing that'll apparently help the situation is a full-blown apology from me in person to Sarah, which was Sarah's words to my friend. But I really don't think I did anything wrong. So Reddit, please weigh in. I'm so confused. Edit. Oh gosh, I didn't expect this to blow up the way it did. The way my phone kept going off in class. But here's an update for any that are curious. I texted Anna throughout all of this, and apparently Sarah has been going around and telling the friend group a completely different story than what happened. That's why they've been icing me out. From what Anna can gather, she's been saying I was the one who went up to her and made comments about how much she's ate, which never happened. I'm over this petty drama, so I just texted everyone in a group chat and let them know they can believe what they want. For what it's worth, Anna is 100% on my side since she knows I'm not the type to police who eats what. I'm graduating soon with my uni degree, so I have better things to worry about. If they respond, I'll let y'all know what they say. Our next post is by 22 Mirror Sound 22. Am I the jerk for thinking my girlfriend is a social climber? My girlfriend and I have been together for about 8 months, and since then there have been multiple occasions where I have ended up feeling frustrated due to this kind of behavior. Context: we work in the same industry, so this makes a lot of my meetings and connections desirable for her. Most recently, I had an important meeting with a potential new agent. It was my second meeting and he was coming to meet at our house for a chat. Then me and the agent planned to go out to dinner. My girlfriend came home during the meeting, said hello, and then pulled up a chair and said, "I'm so hungry. What are you both up to? Are you going for dinner?" This threw me a bit. I was a bit lost for words, and after a bit of awkwardness, the agent said we should all go for dinner. At the dinner, she spoke about herself. She exaggerated a few things to look more impressive, made it clear she was agentless, and would randomly bring up that she did great work today, etc. I will say she comes across very lovely and sweet, so of course the agent ended up being interested in her. When we were leaving, he wanted to meet up with her in New York. At dinner, she said, "I'm in New York next month," despite it not actually being confirmed. And then it became awkward as she had to admit the New York trip didn't have dates yet, and wasn't 100%. When we got back home, I just said that something didn't feel right, and I didn't expect her to come home and do that. She got upset and defensive, would say things like, "I just won't talk to anyone in the future," which feels a little manipulative. Our next post is by Throwaway. Am I the jerk for telling my mom that she doesn't get to make the rules? I, 17M, live with my 3 brothers, 15M, 13M, 10M, and my ma, 40F. We're not very well off. I pay almost half the rent, I pay for groceries more often than not, and I juggle having a job, going to school, and raising these 3 kids, one of whom is disabled. I say raising because my ma, between having 2 jobs and never being home, doesn't contribute. She's gone by 8 a.m. and usually not back before 10 or 11 p.m. In the past year, she's been home even less, getting home later and later. I'm pretty sure she goes out drinking. The fight went like this. My ma came home last night a bit before 9 p.m. for once, instead of 11 or later as she's been doing. 15M came out of his room to say hi, and 13M was already on the couch reading something for school, so she hugged both of them and said hi and said she'd stopped by the gas station to buy us all something and gave us all a candy bar, which was cool of her. Then she asked where 10M was because she wanted to say hi to him. Now I've practically raised these kids on my own for years now, and I do my best. On the very rare occasion my mom comes home early, she usually just goes to bed. I have 10M go to bed at 8 p.m., which I don't think is unreasonable, and I let the other 2 stay up until 10 p.m. because they're older. We all eat dinner at 6, get home from school around 4, and have a pretty clean routine altogether. Now my ma was asking where he was, so I told her he was asleep. She asked why, so I told her it's past his bedtime. She told me he didn't have to go to bed that early. I told her he did. She told me no, he didn't. She said we could all stay up until 10. I said that doesn't work, and she told me she's the parent, and it does work. And then she said it's not my place to micromanage the other 3. She said her kids, her house, her rules. And then she exploded that I could stop being such a control freak, because it wasn't my place to do that, or to have signed up 13M for soccer, or to have repainted the fence, or to have taken 10M to the doctor some weeks ago, or any of the things I've been doing without asking her. I told her it's also my house. I pay a lot of rent, and they're basically my kids because she's never around, so it's more my house, my rules if we want to play that game. I told her she wouldn't know what works for 10M because she's too busy to know him. I told her I might ask for her input if she was ever around, but she never is, so I don't give a crap how she thinks I should raise these kids, and she doesn't get to have a say in it, not anymore. She broke down crying, called me ungrateful for all that she does, said she doesn't know where she went wrong, and left the room. She either went to her room or she screwed off and left the house. I don't know, and I don't care. She's an adult, it's her life. 13M said I'm a jerk for making her cry, and 15M left the room a minute later saying he was going to bed. So Reddit, am I the jerk for telling my mother off? Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.